Alright guys, so in this tutorial we'll be seeing how you can set a Prisma ORM with your Next.js application. So in order to set up a Prisma ORM in a Next.js application, you must ensure that you have Node.js installed in your system. If you don't have that installed, please check out some guides and please ensure that the Node.js and other necessary libraries to run Next.js is installed. So now in order to do so, we'll be just navigating to a terminal. If you're in Windows, you can just open a PowerShell, right? You can just check for node installation that by typing node v. So this will give you the version. So that the version I'm currently using is 22, right? Clear the terminal. Now we'll be creating the Next.js application. So for the creation of the Next.js application, I'll be using Bun, which is actually more comprehensive than PNPM and NPM because it supports better dependency management, right? So type bunx create next app at 14.2. Here I'm using the 14.2 version above the latest, which is the 15th version, because I believe that the 14th version is much more stable and works perfectly with the Prisma client and the Prisma ORM system, right? It's your personal choice. You can go with the 15th one as well. There's no restriction. Press enter. It will ask you the name of your application. You can type demo Prisma or any kind of name what your application has. We'll be using TypeScript, we'll be using ESLint, we'll be using Tailwind CSS, SRC, yes, App Router, yes, import alias, no. This will install all the dependencies inside your particular system. And from here you can now navigate towards the folder which you created, which was demo Prisma. So type cd demo Prisma. So as you are inside the particular folder, you can open it in your code editor. So I'll be using Visual Studio Code. So you can see the project has been opened in the Visual Studio Code editor. And over here, you can see everything is there inside the app full with the layout and the page. So now we can just test the application by running it in a localhost. So you can type bun dev. So it has started the application on localhost 3000. You can navigate it towards it. It will load and the screen will pop up, which means the application has been installed successfully, and you can now proceed with the integration with Prisma ORM. Close the browser. Close the terminal. So now in order to install Prisma ORM with your Next.js application, you have to open the integrated terminal, then type the particular command bun add Prisma. So it says that Prisma library has been installed, and I have to install the other one as well, which is the Prisma Client library. So bun add at Prisma/client. It will take some time and will also install the Prisma Client dependency. So these are the two main dependencies which will be required to set up Prisma ORM with your Next.js application. In order to initialize your database inside your Next.js application, you have to type the particular command bunx Prisma init. So this will take some time, and then it will create the env file and the Prisma file. So inside the Prisma file, you'll be having the schema folder of the Prisma. So here you define all the model for the database tables, right? So over here you can just remove this output. This is just redundant. Actually, if you want, you can keep it. Otherwise, it's better to keep it inside the root folder of the Prisma, so for easier management, right? Save this, and then it creates the database schema default by PostgreSQL. So in order to check it out and test the database inside locally, inside your application, you can just change it to SQLite, right? So this has changed to SQLite. You have to ensure that this is set to SQLite over here, otherwise it won't work properly. Then close this, go back to your env file, and then just remove this particular string of database. But keep it in mind that when you are using the Postgres database, yes, URLs would look like this. This is a dummy one which is given to me by Copilot. So when you are using Postgres, it will start with Postgres, but now we'll be using a local one. So it will look something like this: file dev.db. This name is optional. You can name it anything you want. It can be anything, cat.db or bun.db, whatever you want, but for simplicity and understanding we'll just keep it dev, which means development database. Save the env file, close this. Now clear the terminal and then type the following command: bunx prisma db push, right? So this is check all the env file and then the schema as well, and then it should say generated Prisma client, right? Now we don't have anything inside the schema right now. We have no models, so so our db would be empty, right? You can see there is 0 tables. Now we'll add a table in here to see the data in actual. So type model user. So this has been given to me by Copilot. You can say simply a user model which has an unique identifier, the name, the email, the created date, and the updated date. You can check all the details about the data types, which are supported by SQLite or Postgres depending upon your needs. So every kind of database supports different kind of relation, then normalization and everything. So all of that can be explored inside the Prisma docs, which I'll link in the description below, right? Save this model and then run this command again. Bunx Prisma db push. Now it says that your database is in sync with the Prisma schema. Or if you want to keep track of what changes you are making in the database, you can also create migrations. So just for example, if I create another model here, model post, right? We'll just remove the unwanted ones. We won't be going to the references and stuff. We'll just keep it simple, right? So this is a model. So now what you can do is do bunx prisma migrate dev. So this is the development migration. So if you're in a production, that's a completely different kind of thing. So we'll be just focusing on development now. Press enter. So there's an error over here and it says that you may use Prisma migrate reset to drop the development database. So as you can see, it wants to reset the development DB, so you can use this command Prisma migrate reset. So these are the common errors, but you will get the fix on spot. It will ask you yes or no. Press yes, right? New database has been created and you can see this is a migration. So when you run migration again, you can then just give a name to this migration. So it's like migration 1. See, it creates migrations folder where you all can see that there is a SQL query stuff. So over here it just says some kind of SQL queries to create the database and all the underlying operations of Prisma, which you don't have to go into. So just keep the migration. So this migrations folder will allow you to track your progress as you change your databases, so you don't actually run off into any issues while rollback kind of stuff, right? So that's all depending upon your personal preference, or you can just use bunx prisma db push. So this is better in development, so you don't create extra files, right? This is how you link Prisma. Now I'll show you by adding databases entries inside the tables, right? So this is how you can link Prisma ORM with your Next.js application. And now there's one more most important thing to do is to create a client. So to create a client, I'll just you have to visit the Prisma docs. So just type in Prisma docs. Inside the documentation, you have to search for the best practice for initializing a Prisma client, right? So the thing is that whenever you want to access the database, you have to have a client inside your Next.js application, which will refer to the global Prisma object. So from there you can access all the kind of models and the properties related to the models. But in order to do so, whenever you do multiple calls, it will create a client one by one again and again, right? So that will create a heavy load inside your application. So to prevent that, we'll be creating a prisma.ts file which will manage all of that. So as it's mentioned over here, you have to create a lib folder. Inside that you have to create a prisma.ts file, right? So as it mentions, we'll just go inside src and over here create a new folder lib. Inside this you can create a new file, prisma.ts. Inside the prisma.ts file you have to copy this entire thing and paste it over here. So as you can see, we installed at prisma.client. So this is what the library does. It creates a Prisma client for you. It creates a global object for a Prisma so that it does not initialize it again and again when you create a call inside your application in many folders. So the application always stays lean and clean. Now this is all we have to do. Now just close it off. So this is how you set up your database. Now I'll show you how to add entries and how to see your database as a UI. So basically we have this dev.db, right? It's not that intuitive to actually see the user and the post. So Prisma has a built-in solution for this. You can type Next Prisma Studio. This is the Prisma Studio, where you can see all your models and all your database entries, right? So from here you can also add records. So add a record. So this is an auto increment, so it will do it automatically. You can just type the name of the post. So post 1, content could be anything, and published false, author ID 0, created at now, right? Save changes. So as you can see, we have added a new record inside our Prisma database. So it will be reflected inside your Prisma, the dev.db as well. So open dev.db and see the post table. See, we have one post, right? So this is how it's linked. So the Prisma Studio always runs on localhost 555. If localhost 5555 is busy, it will choose the other port. So that's nothing you have to worry about. You can keep this running through your entire development, but whenever you make changes inside your database, you have to restart this thing as well, right? So this is how you link Prisma with your Next.js application. Very easy and simple steps. So in order to access data inside your Next.js application through the Prisma database, you can follow the next upcoming guides. So to ensure that you don't miss it, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.